Hi all, welcome to another video. And in this video, I'll talk a little bit about the job market in Sydney right now, or more like interviewing in 2024 in Sydney. And this is in regards to tech roles, like my line of work, that's software engineering roles, or technical lead, and so on and so forth. This will be more like a continuation of my previous video. I've made another video on this topic some time ago, so I'll put a link to that video in the description of this video, so check it out. But obviously, before we go on, as is tradition, so welcome to another video, and it's a really cold, miserable day here in Sydney. I mean, I'm happy and I'm smiling right now because I'm indoors. The moment I step outside and the moment I face that strong wind, oh God, I just remember how much I hate being outside, or how much I hate winter for that matter. We've got some really strong, gutsy winds blowing right now, which makes it seem like 5 degrees colder than it actually is. Yeah. Um, and what is it right now? It's nearly 10:30 p.m. right now, and yeah, it was sunny. It was sunny in the morning and for most of the day, but it was just windy, so it wasn't really fun going outside. It wasn't fun walking outside. All right, so on to the topic of this video. So looking for a new role in Sydney in 2024. It is interesting. It is painful, but I mean, it's no less painful than I guess it was when I was looking to get back into working for someone from after 4.5 years of working my startup. What it is right now is, especially for the roles that I'm applying for, that is some of the senior positions, there's just heaps and heaps of interviews. So let me break this down for you. So this is what happens, right? So first, you apply for the role that you see. Once your resume gets shortlisted for the next stage would typically be the talent acquisition from that company calling you and having a chat with you. They just do, I'm not sure what they're doing. They just ask you a few questions around your, like your salary expectations and, what your previous role was and so on and so forth. Okay. After that, they pass on the feedback and the notes that they've made to the hiring manager. Now, then the hiring manager will call you, or the engineering manager or whoever, they will call you, and this will be it will be similar to the stage before, but it will be more like a technical interview in which they'll ask you about your about the project that you worked on in your previous role, or what's the most recent project that you've done and that you're very proud of. Yeah. Once that is done, then it really depends on the organization, but most organizations, and by most organizations I mean small to mid-sized companies, and I'll tell you a little bit more later as to why I'm talking about small to mid-sized companies. Anyway, so what they'll do is they'll typically give you like a take-home assessment, and the take-home assessment, you're given like certain amount of time to sort of get it done by a certain date, and once you do that, then they'll review the work that you've done, and if they like that, then they'll call you for an interview. Now in this interview, you'll be explaining the work that you've done and talk about some of the decisions that you made for in your solution to get it to the stage where it is. Okay, so if this goes well, they'll go for another interview. And this interview will be more like a system design interview. And the system design interview is, well, it's exactly what you would expect from a system design interview. And you'll be talking about some of the like the design decisions around, like the technology, or what sort of architecture you would use to build a perfect system. uh, okay, now if you get through this, then the next stage will be you'll have a chat with the hiring manager. No, 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 sorry, not the hiring manager. um, you'll have a chat with like the CTO, or someone in a similar position who who would really, it'd be more like a casual chat per se, where you'll have a chat about they'll talk to you about what the organization is about, and what are some of its values, and what they expect from you, and what they aim to you know keep the company going by, and so on and so forth. And if that's done, then you get the job, then you get the offer. So if you're thinking this is ridiculous, yes, it actually is very ridiculous. It's hilarious just how funny it is. And most of these companies, they are nowhere near the caliber of, I don't know, Google, or a startup like Canva or something like that, because they're really just young startups, and they just they've got a product, and how impressive their product is, that's a separate question, and it's hard to pass judgment on that. But yeah, it's just crazy of how ridiculous this process is. And part of the reason why this is the case is because there's just the market is full of heaps and heaps of candidates right now. There's a lot of people looking for jobs, and there's that. Okay, now going back, if you remember, I mentioned that small to mid-sized companies. Now, just so it happens that most organizations hiring right now, a lot of the job that you see on LinkedIn or on seek.com.au here in Australia would be for small to mid-sized companies. The larger companies such as banks, or like these consulting companies like Deloitte, or EY, and so on and so forth, they're not really hiring right now. They're going through a bit of a hiring freeze or something. Okay, no, sorry, don't quote me on that. I don't mean hiring freeze. But they've sort of limited their hiring, because they're still trying to streamline their process and streamline their workforce from what it was back in, from all um, their ex- their all their large all their extremely large amount of hiring during the COVID pandemic, if that makes sense. I don't think I used the right words here, but you get it. Uh, yeah. So obviously, now given the fact that it's only small to mid-sized companies that are hiring right now, uh, and not large companies, this puts me at a bit of a disadvantage at this stage, simply because um, I spent the last 3 years specializing over something, and that was, in my case, it was just API. So when you work at a large corporation, they've got like heaps of people working for them, so you get to specialize in what you want to specialize in. And when startups look to hire, startups typically look for like a full stack engineer. And full stack is not just like back end and front end, it also means a little bit of networking, a little bit of infrastructure knowledge, and so on and so forth. So they look for like a well-rounded engineer who can do who knows a bit of everything, instead of specialization in one thing. Uh, but that's how it is. This is the market right now, and the employer is king, and they get to pick and choose and exactly what they want. So there's heaps of candidates, so they can do this. The employers can do this. So for anyone else looking for a new role right now, I mean, it's job search. The skill required is persistence, grit, and persistent. You've just got to keep trying and just keep grinding through it until you get the role. So just keep going through interviews and stuff. I mean, seriously, mate, that's just what it is. Like, there's no secret to it or anything. It's obviously interviews are like 90% preparation and then like this 10%, oh sorry, 95% preparation and this 5% luck. And that 5% luck is super important, especially right now, because you could have like a really bad day and you can get like the worst question. So for example, you're getting lead code questions in an interview, and you could have a bad day and you could probably get the worst question relative to you on from lead code, and that could just suck, and that's what it is. That's the market. That's what I mean when I say luck. Like, personally, to be honest, mate, seriously, if I was in an interview and they had lead code questions, and if I had a question hash sets or hash maps or even stack, yay, that's awesome. Even trees for that matter. All of these things are fine. But should I get a question on those bloody two pointer thingies, 2-pointer algorithm, or the sliding window algorithm? Ah, mate, I hate that. Or even, oh, for God's sake, what was that other thing called? Um, the monotonic stack? No, wait, priority queue. Actually, priority queues are okay, but nah, 2 pointers and sliding windows are like probably my worst. Seriously. Uh, but it's that's a bit about luck or not luck. So I mean, I could probably get a sliding window question that I know, but on a bad day, I could get the easiest sliding window question, the easiest sliding window algorithm question that I have no idea how to solve. So that's how it is. Anyway, so that's pretty much what I wanted to say in this video. So for those of you watching, I wish you well, and until next time, live long and prosper. Bye.